they had changed something in the reality. They are disclosing that they are doing all this type of research on wormholes, black holes, change of time and space, officially.
Yes, she's talking about CERN. And something strange happened there in November 2009. CERN's director of research, Sergio Bertolucci, made a very interesting statement.
This director of CERN says that the Titanic machine may possibly create or discover previously unimagined scientific phenomenon or unknown unknowns. For instance, an extra dimension. Out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. There would be an open door. But that even with the power of the LHC at his disposal, he would only be able to hold it open a very tiny lapse of time, 10 to 26 seconds, but during that infinitesimal amount of time, we will be able to peer into this open door, either by getting something out of it or sending something into it. Of course, adds Bertolucci, after this tiny moment, the door would again shut, bringing us back to our normal, four-dimensional world.
This is Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, a Swiss scientist who spent decades in research and worked with major institutions in Geneva, with access to a lot of internal information. In recent years, she decided to start speaking publicly about things that take a lot of courage to say out loud. In this video, you'll hear some things that may shake your worldview. I think she revealed more than she should have. Watch this.
She invited me to see everybody and put me at the table of two physicists from the CERN, one in Geneva, one in Portugal, because there are many other mini CERNs, it's not just Geneva. I said, so how many dimensions officially are living in the CERN? They both said 17. Very affirmatively.
CERN is a major physics research center near Geneva, on the border between Switzerland and France, where scientists study the structure of reality at the smallest scale. Its main machine is the Large Hadron Collider, a 27-kilometer underground ring where particles are accelerated close to the speed of light and collided. This is how the Higgs boson was discovered in 2012, the particle linked to why matter has mass. What most people don't know, and this is where it gets interesting. When the Large Hadron Collider was about to start in 2008, there was a concern among some physicists about the scale of the experiment. The LHC operates at energy levels never reached before in a laboratory. Some theoretical models suggested that unusual phenomena could occur at those energies, including the formation of microscopic black holes or other exotic states of matter. This uncertainty led to legal challenges. In 2008, a lawsuit was filed in a US court asking for the LHC to be stopped. The case was dismissed because the court had no jurisdiction over CERN. The decision was appealed and dismissed again. Between 2008 and 2010, similar complaints were filed in European courts. None of them stopped the experiments. The legal decisions did not assess whether the experiments were safe. They only established that the courts could not intervene. As a result, the LHC was switched on. From that point on, humanity began running experiments that recreate conditions similar to those that existed shortly after the Big Bang. And that's just a small detail. Watch this.
They said about 2018 there was a bang. Actually, one of the criticisms is that they had changed something in the reality, and that they had changed time, space, and they opened other realities. And isn't it at that time that Marvel started to do a lot of movies on multi-dimensional Doctor Strange?
Yes, the multiverse. Yep.
Yeah, multiverse.
Yes, I know, this kind of information is hard to process. It doesn't fit into how we normally understand reality. And what makes this more disturbing is that there are a lot of real-world examples that lines up with what Dr. Astrid is describing, something that happened and that still has no clear explanation. I'm going to show you one example that might leave you speechless. I really don't understand how that happened, but maybe you know. Before I show it you, one quick clarification. You see these clips? Maybe you think I filmed this myself or that I made these animations. But I didn't. All of this comes from Storyblocks, the platform that I use to make these videos, and now I'm happy to say they're sponsoring the channel. Everything I need is in one place: 4K and HD video, templates, music, sound effects, images, and more. What I personally like is that the content feels real. It comes from real artists around the world, so it doesn't look staged or generic. It also saves me a lot of time. I don't have to jump between different websites or worry about licenses. Everything's already cleared, royalty-free and safe to use. Honestly, it's one of the best places to find really good content. You pay one set price, monthly or yearly, and that's it. You don't have to worry about paying per clip or getting hit with hidden fees later on. To get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/beinspired or click the link in the description. Now, back to what I wanted to show you. In 2009, Fiona Broome was the first to notice something strange. Large groups of people were sharing the same memories, and those memories didn't match reality. Not isolated mistakes, but collective ones. She later called this the Mandela Effect. I'm sure you already heard of it. The timing is interesting because it's exactly the same period when the Large Hadron Collider was being switched on and tested. The first beam circulated in 2008, and the first major collisions happened in 2009. Two completely different things happening at the same time. On one side, the largest physics experiment in history begins operating, and on the other, people start noticing that their shared memories don't line up with recorded reality. It may be nothing, it may be coincidence, but the overlap in timing is hard to ignore, and that's why this connection keeps coming up again and again. Not as proof of anything, but just as a pattern that feels a little too strange to be random. Do you remember the Monopoly Man? Did he have a monocle or not? Well, the official version says he never had one, but a large segment of the population remembers him with a monocle. I remember him clearly with a monocle. This is something I really wanted to share in this video because it's really messing me up. So if he didn't have a monocle, why does the Monopoly Man appear wearing one in the movie?
Ace Ventura, pet detective, and you must be the Monopoly guy. Hey, thanks for the free parking.
And not just that. Here's an article from a 2004 newspaper that mentions this common memory of the Monopoly Man wearing a monocle. One of many old references that describe the Monopoly Man with a monocle. And all of this is kindly confirmed by Max Lowen, known as the world's smartest kid, who strangely disappeared from the internet after his famous video.
What happened was we made this universe sort of out of balance, and our universe...
Because of the collider, the super collider?
Yeah, we altered the weight of a single electron, which I believe shifted us into a parallel universe.
He's suggesting that reality doesn't exist as one single fixed timeline. Instead, there are many parallel versions of reality that exist at the same time. These versions are almost identical, but not completely. There are small differences between them. Most of the time, they're so small that we don't notice them. Max's idea is that sometimes we move from one version of reality to another, and when that happens, things that we remember from the previous version don't always match what exists in the current one. He believes that this is what the Mandela Effect is. Not a memory error, but a mismatch between what we remember and the version of the reality that we're currently in. The differences are small in theory, maybe just 1%, but on a human level, that 1% can feel very large. Now look at this image. You see the red on the Coca-Cola can, right? Well, if I zoom in, there's actually no red in this picture. No red pixels at all. Now I'm zooming out, and the red appears, and most people still see red. This image shows how unstable our perception really is. It shows that what we experience as reality is already a mix of what's out there and what the brain adds on top. So when something feels off, when memory and reality don't match, the problem isn't simple. It could be memory, it could be perception, or it could be something deeper, like CERN. These institutions publish their agendas, their brochures, their official research topics. They talk about space and time, black holes, wormholes, quantum physics, entanglement. That becomes the accepted narrative, but as a regular person, you have no real way to verify any of this. You can't check a black hole. You can't observe a wormhole, and you can't see subatomic particles. You don't have access to those places. You don't have the tools, and you don't have the raw data. So what ends up happening is that they explain the invisible, and we're expected to accept the explanation, not because we can confirm it, but because we can't. Not because it's necessarily wrong, but because it's structurally impossible for most people to verify. That creates a gap between what is happening and what can be independently checked, and that gap is where trust replaces verification.
Now they want to do a collidron loop.
Yep.
It is 27 kilometers, and now they want to do 91 kilometers. They say it's not enough. We have to just get the collision between the subatomic particles. Okay, we can imagine that it's correct, that it's possible, but how can we verify anything? It's very puzzling.
So the question naturally becomes, why there? Why was CERN built near Geneva? Officially, the answer is simple. Switzerland is politically neutral, stable, centrally located in Europe, and able to host an international scientific organization without geopolitical tension. But when you step back and look at the physical location, not just the political one, the choice becomes more interesting. CERN sits in a very specific part of Europe, close to the Alps and near the Mont Blanc Massif, the highest mountain in Western Europe. This is one of the most geologically complex and active regions on the continent. Mont Blanc is not just a mountain, it's a massive geological structure sitting on top of deep fault systems, tectonic pressure zones, and complex rock formations. Researchers in geophysics and geobiology have pointed out for years that large mountain ranges are associated with unusual natural phenomena, natural electric currents in the ground, variations in the Earth's electromagnetic field, and strong mechanical stress in certain minerals like quartz, which can produce electric effects under pressure. Now, there's no official story for that, of course, but it does raise a reasonable question. If you were going to build a machine that pushes matter and energy to their limits, wouldn't you want to place it somewhere that's already geologically stable, structurally strong, and capable of supporting massive underground installations? Then there's the deeper layer, the one that humans have been pointing at for thousands of years. When people talk about energy grids, they usually point to the same strange pattern. The most important structures in human history don't seem to be placed randomly. The Great Pyramid of Giza sits in a very precise position on the planet and is aligned with true north with extreme accuracy. Stonehenge was built to line up with the solstices. Machu Picchu was placed on a ridge between major fault lines and important astronomical lines. Angkor Wat mirrors the movement of the sun during the equinoxes. Teotihuacan was built on a precise geometric layout that matches solar and stellar cycles. These places weren't chosen by accident. So when people look at this and talk about an energy grid, what they really mean is that humans have always been drawn to certain locations, places that feel different, places that sit at the intersection of geography, astronomy, and meaning. And when you map enough of these places, patterns start to appear. So, we're told CERN is in Switzerland for political reasons, but that may not be the whole story. We're also told that the Mandela Effect isn't real, that it's just bad memory, coincidence, or confusion. But when you look at how many clear examples there are, that explanation starts to feel incomplete. The most popular example is that a lot of people remember the Berenstain Bears as Berenstein with an E, because that spelling feels more familiar, but the books were always spelt with an A. People remember a cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo. It was never there. Jif peanut butter is remembered as Jiffy. The brand was always just Jif. People remember Looney Tunes as Looney Tunes. It's always been Tunes. Some remember Mickey Mouse wearing suspenders. He never did. Pikachu is remembered with a black tip on his tail. Never existed. Many remember Tinkerbell dotting the I in the Disney logo. That version never existed. Some people remember the Mona Lisa as frowning. The painting has of course never changed. Ed McMahon is remembered delivering giant checks for Publishers Clearing House. He never did. Many swear there was a movie called Shazam with Sinbad as a genie. There wasn't. People remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father." The line is different.
No, I am your father.
And many remember the mirror saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." The line was,
"Magic mirror on the wall."
Many people remember the movie Forrest Gump with the line, "Life is like a box of chocolates." But the actual line in the movie is,
"Life was like a box of chocolates."
It's a small change, but almost everyone remembers it in the present tense. In The Silence of the Lambs, people clearly remember Hannibal Lecter saying, "Hello, Clarice." That exact line is never spoken in the film.
Good morning.
In Star Trek, fans often quote, "Beam me up, Scotty," but that line has never been said in that way in the original series.
Beam me up, Mr. Spock. Beam me up. Lock on transporters. Beam us up.
In Risky Business, people remember Tom Cruise wearing sunglasses during the famous dance scene. In the actual scene, He's not wearing sunglasses. In Disney's The Little Mermaid, many people remember Ariel having a shiny silver seashell bra. In reality, it's purple. In the original Star Wars trilogy, many people remember C-3PO as completely gold, but one of his legs is actually silver. In the movie Apollo 13, people remember the line, "Houston, we have a problem." The actual line is,
"Houston, we have a problem."
In Dirty Harry, the famous line is remembered as, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" But the actual dialogue is different.
"Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?"
In children's books, many people remember Curious George having a tail. He never had one. In The Wizard of Oz, many people remember the Wicked Witch saying, "Fly, my pretties, fly." She actually says something slightly different.
Now fly! Fly!
In the Flintstones, many people remember the name as the Flintstones without the second T. The real name has always been the Flintstones. In The Lion King, people remember Simba saying, "Remember who you are," in a different scene and context than it actually happens. In the song We Are the Champions by Queen, people remember the song ending with "of the world." The studio version does not include that final line. In Aladdin, many people remember the genie saying, "I'm trapped in a lamp," in a specific scene that never happened. In The Matrix, many remember Morpheus saying, "What if I told you?" That line never appears that way in the film. In Jurassic Park, people remember the T-Rex breaking through the fence from a flat surface that shouldn't logically allow it, a memory mismatch caused by how the scene is edited. In Toy Story, many people remember Woody saying,
"Reach for the sky,"
in a scene that doesn't exist. In the cartoon Scooby-Doo, people remember Shaggy wearing a darker green shirt. It's actually light green. In Indiana Jones, many people remember the fedora scene differently than it actually plays out. In The Jungle Book, people remember Baloo wearing a coconut bra disguise. That never happened. In Tom and Jerry, many people remember Tom talking regularly. He almost never speaks. Yes, I know this kind of stuff messes with your head a little. There are way more examples than we could fit in one video. I'm really curious what you remember and what you don't. Let me know in the comments. So, that's it for today. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to think or what to believe, I'm just showing you another way of looking at things. If any of this caught your attention, do your own research. Look into it yourself. You might end up seeing things a little differently. I'm Josh. See you next time. Take care.
Well, they describe that they are time portal. That's one of their topics. It's there on CERN. I don't know if they've put it lately, but I never saw that before. You know, this Mandela Effect. They put the news and they say, no, it was always there, and you start doubting about your past.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I can only speak of feelings and or intuition. Intuition is putting together, different knowledges, I guess. But when they said about 2018, there was a bang. Actually, one of the criticisms is that they had changed something in the reality, and that they had changed time, space.
Yeah.
And that they opened other realities. And isn't it at that time that Marvel started to do a lot of movies on multi-dimensional Doctor Strange?
Yes, the multiverse. Yep.
Yeah, multiverse. I, as being in Geneva, I never really liked Geneva, but I guess my mission is to be in Geneva. But especially since 2018, there's something for me that changed. Yeah, there's something weird in when you walk in Geneva. But But they're also working with other dimension. And this Bertolucci, you know, when they had the eclipse on the 8th of April?
Oh, yeah.
I posted a lot of things because they had announced that we're going to reopen the Collidron,
right.
the LHC.
Yep.
Yeah. I can never,
Large
Hadron
Hadron
Collider.
Yep.
Yeah, LHC, let's call it.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going to open it and reactivate it. And the way they said it was so mysterious that I posted even the link to make a monitoring and surveillance for those who understand. So you have about 5 or 10 posts on my X with you can go and look at the different peaks, you know, spikes,
right.
Signals. But I did not see anything strange because I thought maybe we were all going to collapse. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to, let's see if we can wrap this up, the Mandela Effect, and let's have at least one human being who might watch this potentially be able to understand what you're saying.
Right. So when our universe was destroyed over here...
And this was, you think, when CERN Super Collider did its experiment?
Large Hadron Collider, yeah.
Or the Hadron?
Large Hadron Collider, right.
Okay.
And so after our universe and timeline was destroyed, we were, let's zoom this in a lot, zoom, 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 and the universe that's directly next to ours, it's just directly next to ours, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred from form to form. But if there are an infinite number of universes, then there's 100% chance that this happened, at least maybe in another universe, maybe not ours. Then again, there's also an infinite chance that this is our universe. So if this one was eliminated, all the energy from this universe created or transferred a universe that was right next to us.
So the original universe is mirror, mirror on the wall. The transferred to universe is magic mirror on the wall.
Right, and even...
For years I've said, those of us experiencing the Mandela Effect have shifted to alternate timelines, parallel universes, due to experiments at CERN. Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, when talking about CERN experiments, said she didn't want to disappear in another timeline. That remark speaks volumes.
What I know is the last time that CERN was firing up the Large Hadron Collider, there were a number of reports of increased supernatural activity in that area, coming from multiple sources, and it'll be interesting to see what the outcome is, because CERN has just started, 4th of July, firing up the LHC again at unprecedented levels, they said.
Gosh, so if I disappear in another timeline, come back.
Don't say that. We need you.
When you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies. Intel, they say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time. I'm just saying that because as a scientist, you cannot not say something so important. Because if you can deal with the smallest energies on Earth, you can imagine that you can go through other realms of dimensions, you know.
We seem to have lost focus and vision. to have lowered our sights and let systems and structures and bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow and improve productivity. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
When you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies. Intel, they say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.
It's because CERN has just started. 4th of July, firing up the LHC again at unprecedented levels, they said.
Gosh, so if I disappear in another timeline, come back.
Don't say that. We need you.
The whole of Geneva. No, I don't think so. I think my mission is here.
I think so too.
Thank you for watching my video. Please visit my website at samstwitch.com. My X profile is at x.com/samstwitch_Sam. My YouTube channel is at youtube.com/samstwitch. I post videos that I cannot post on YouTube on my BitChute channel at bitchute.com/samstwitch.